I'm a Minecraft theorist, and I have been for almost 2 years now, but what most people don't know is that I'm actually one of the most controversial Minecraft theorists. And a video by a channel called Rando criticizes 3 of my major theories, but most of the arguments that he makes are honestly kinda ridiculous, so in this video we're gonna be debunking his debunking. First of all, if you end up watching this video, this is what I sound like. Video games. But to find I do not sound like that in the actual video, he made a mistake in OBS. The first thing that he does is he criticizes the part where I say that Minecraft has more lore than most video games, and he uses Pokemon as an example of a game with more lore than Minecraft. But of course Pokemon has more lore. Pokemon has tons of lore. I didn't say that Minecraft had the most lore of any video game, I just said that it had more lore than most video games, which is totally true. So then he talks for the next 3 minutes straight about Pokemon having lore and about how bad my texture pack is before actually getting into the video. Then he spends the next 2 minutes trying to figure out his YouTube settings. But here's the first time he actually criticizes one of my theories. I was assessing the Orb of Dominance's abilities, and I said that it has the power to summon mobs, to which he says that the Orb of Dominance cannot spawn mobs that we know of. And he's completely right there. That was a mistake that I made because I was not done reading Rise of the Archillager yet. Honestly, I think that this video has the most mistakes out of any of my theories. Like, all the parts that are absolutely essential to the theory are still there, so let's move on. Then he spends nearly 45 seconds criticizing me for pointing out that the Orb of Dominance was intelligent. And the reason that I did that is to clarify that it's not just brainless like a mob that just sort of walks around and path finds. Like, it's not this animal that doesn't really know anything, it's actually a being that can talk to you and understands things like speech. Most mobs in Minecraft can't do that, so I was just pointing that out. But if you're like me or Rando and you've read Rise of the Archillager, you already know that. The problem is that most of the people watching the video probably haven't read the novel, so I just thought I'd point it out. Then I point out that the Orb of Dominance has an orange and pink gradient that fluctuates over time. I also said that no other item has that, to which he says Prismarine has that. However, Prismarine fluctuates incredibly slowly, and it's a color change so subtle that most people don't even notice it. The Orb of Dominance, however, changes colors drastically very quickly. And Rise of the Archillager points out that it fluctuates based on the Orb of Dominance and Archie's mood. Then I pointed out that the Orb of Dominance's pink and orange gradient is shared by the Flames of Creation, at which point he calls me colorblind and says that there's no pink here. Now, when 13-year-old me saw this video, I thought that these little parts in here were kinda pinkish, but I totally see where he's coming from. I don't think they're pink anymore either, and I think that this part of the theory of the Orb of Dominance being similar to the Flames of Creation is a little bit of a stretch, but I still think that the hosts created the Orb of Dominance because they are the only ones in Minecraft that we've seen who can create items. Then I pointed out that the hosts have the ability to create items, and since the Orb of Dominance is a one-of-a-kind item, it's not something that you can get a bunch of, the hosts definitely could have created it, and it even shows Action creating the world's first iron axe. Here's the response.
Wow, the godly beings can make stuff.
Then he pauses the video to point out that he thinks the staff has a name, which upon reading Rise of the Archillager you'll see that it doesn't. Then in the video I point out that there are only 4 items in Minecraft that can summon mobs. The regular Orb of Dominance, the green Orb of Dominance, command blocks, and the Flames of Creation. To which he points out that spawners, spawn eggs, the corrupted cauldron, golem spawning, and vindicators can all spawn mobs. But the vindicators don't spawn in the mobs in the same way as the other things. With the golems you're not creating something from nothing, you're just turning blocks into a mob. The spawners are the Flames of Creation, as he even points out earlier in the video. The spawners use spawn eggs, as we know from creative mode, and so the corrupted cauldron is the only thing on this list that I actually missed. Then in the video, I point out that there are far more shards here than we actually end up destroying in the game, which means that the Orb of Dominance shards have to still be out there. However, he accuses me of not even watching the video for the next 3 seconds to see that the shards actually form back together. But here's the thing. You see how the shards are all made of little cubes like everything else in Minecraft? Well, if you add all those cubes up, there's way more than it actually takes to make a full solid Orb of Dominance. In fact, even if you take the shards that you destroy in Minecraft dungeons and put them all together, there's still more than you need to create an Orb of Dominance. And also you can't create the shards that we destroy in Minecraft dungeons with just this amount of cubes, which means there are still some out there. And I actually pointed this out in a follow-up video. Oh, and we know for 100% fact that the Orb of Dominance shards survived, because at the very end of the Echoing Void DLC, you can see a redstone golem walking around, and redstone golems need the Orb of Dominance just to function. But that's kind of something that he should know because he's read Rise of the Archillager. Then he shows this image, which is actually kind of funny. But moving on. Okay, so then I point out that the Minecraft Dungeons narrator and Foresight have the same voice actress, and that they could totally be the same person, to which he says, probably not, we just don't know. Not in those words, of course, but we're just gonna move on. Okay, so now I'm pointing out that the Orb of Dominance fell into the hands of the piglins, and then they used it to get to the overworld, to which he said,
I don't think they use the Orb of Dominance to go to the overworld. At least, like, not directly, because you need obsidian and fire. That's all you need to go to make a portal from the overworld to the nether. By the way, is a nether portal also an overworld portal?
And then he talks for nearly a minute and a half about how a nether portal is also an overworld portal. And then here he says that the whole question of this video is what happened to the remaining shards, but since he says there are no remaining shards, this video has no point. But as we 100% proved with redstone golems, there are shards. So let's keep going. Then I reveal the final big end of the theory where I say that the Orb of Dominance shards could be in a command block. I say that it has all the same properties of the Orb of Dominance, like this gradient texture, along with the ability to do all the things that the Orb of Dominance can do. Now what I'm proposing is that the Orb of Dominance is inside and the gradient within is controlling these things, but he points out that it's not a color gradient like the Orb of Dominance, and that there are colors on here that the Orb of Dominance never does. But these are buttons, they're just flashing because the Orb of Dominance flashes, they don't all need to be the same color. He also points out that command blocks can do so many things that the Orb of Dominance can't, like the kill command. However, as I even pointed out in this theory, a command block is a more concentrated output of the orb's power, a more concentrated output that can do so many more things. And then here I make another reference to summoning mobs that he criticizes because, again, I was 13 years old and I hadn't finished Rise of the Archillager. I'm not saying right, in fact I'm admitting I was wrong, but I am saying that because I say that the Orb of Dominance can summon mobs and it can't, it doesn't disprove the whole theory. Then he talks about how command blocks aren't canon, which Mojang added them to the game and added ways for you to access them, and Mojang has never specified whether or not they're canon. I'm not claiming that story mode is canon because it's not, but the notion that command blocks can 100% be proven not to be canon just isn't true. And by the way, I feel like I should clarify this. I'm not saying that I believe 100% that the Orb of Dominance shards turn into a command block. I'm not saying that at all. I am, however, saying that it's a cool theory that fits with Minecraft lore. There are no contradictions and nothing in Minecraft that says it's not true. So the next theory he talks about is my Minecraft multiverse theory. When I say that Minecraft isn't a multiverse, he says that it's just flat out true and not even a theory, which is correct. Mojang says that it's true in a book that he talks about here that I actually address later in the video. But that's not saying that Minecraft has multiple dimensions, it's saying that it has parallel universes, which is where things get controversial. So he continues to talk about how it's just a fact that Minecraft has parallel universes for 2 minutes straight, and then he finally unpauses it long enough for me to say that it's parallel universes. But he does debunk the entire theory in one statement.
They aren't. They just aren't.
So apparently they just aren't. See you later. No, I'm joking, let's keep going. So for the Minecraft multiverse theory, in case you didn't know, there's a Minecraft handbook type thing that was made, and on one of the pages it talks about how Minecraft is a multiverse, where basically each Minecraft world is its own dimension, and so they're all canon in their own way, along with like spin-off games and stuff, which is something that I actually predicted before I even read the book. But then Rando goes along and talks about how multiverses and universes and worlds and dimensions and stuff, those are all different things, and that there's a universe that has different dimensions within it, like the overworld, the nether, the end, and the deep dark dimension, and that each of those are their own thing in the Minecraft universe and completely separate. However, this is never said anywhere in the book or anywhere by any Mojang employee, ever. Like he's literally just making this up on the fly, but let's keep going. Then I use this image as an example of talking about whenever a choice is made, the timeline split, talking about this mammoth choosing to eat carrots or grass, and then he talks for 45 seconds about how mammoths probably never ate carrots. So I basically explain the parallel universe theory, and he keeps talking about how dimensions and timelines and worlds are all different things. They don't mean the same thing, which in this context they completely do. They're all parallel universes of each other, but because he's following that logic table that he showed earlier that is completely made up, it sounds completely logical what he's saying. Then I talked about how Minecraft Legends is another dimension, to which he points out that no, it's actually a story. And I actually made an entire video debunking that theory that you can go watch. Then I talk about how in different dimensions things look differently because life processes light differently. So I gave an explanation of how your eyes pull in light and then uses that data to create images and colors and stuff. So I said there isn't a single yellow pixel on this screen, which is true, but my wording was wrong. There's no yellow LEDs here, but there is yellow light created by the red and green LEDs. So here I talk about how going to certain dimensions changes our biology, to which he responds,
It does not. We are exactly the same when we go to the overworld and the end.
The thing is, he cut me off in the middle of the sentence where I explained the proof that it does, because we go from looking like a regular player in Minecraft to looking like this in Minecraft Legends, which is completely different. So therefore, changing dimensions changes your biology, and also how your brain perceives the light that goes in, which is why certain dimensions look differently. Then I have a hint at a vast multiverse in this book called Castle Redstone, to which he says that it's not canon and that nothing but Rise of the Arch-Illager is canon. However, literally 10 seconds later, I talk about proving that it's canon. Now, it's a popular belief in Minecraft theories that Rise of the Arch-Illager is the only canon Minecraft novel. But here I say that the only real evidence is it is Matt Forbeck, the author, making a tweet saying he's pretty sure it's the only canon Minecraft novel. And this is the only mistake that I made in this entire video, because there is evidence that Jeb once said that it's the only canon novel, but there isn't actually any hard proof of it. See, right here, he shows some evidence of it, but no proof. And I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I am saying that what Mojang employees say about Minecraft doesn't exactly dictate the game. The example that I gave is that a Minecraft employee saying that hippos are canon doesn't make it canon, to which he pointed out that hippos probably are canon. No offense to Rando, but you can tell that he's willing to change what he believes about what is and isn't canon just to debunk certain things. Then I point out that on the title page of the books, it says Series Minecraft. It doesn't say what franchise it's part of. It doesn't say that it's part of a Minecraft companion series. It says that it's part of the Minecraft series, which we all know isn't possible because these books contradict Minecraft, unless there's parallel universes, and this book is one of them. Something I should also point out is that not every Minecraft book says this. Certain books like this and this and this that quite frankly shouldn't be canon don't say that. And then as if more evidence was needed that certain books are canon, I pointed out that in the Minecraft movie, giving a piglin an awkward potion stops them from zombifying in the nether, but even though that's not a feature in Minecraft, it was in this book several years before the Minecraft movie was even announced. Well, this Minecraft movie. There's been quite a few Minecraft movie announcements, but you know what I mean. To which he says that this is a Minecraft Legends book, not a Minecraft book, and that it's questionable how canon Minecraft Legend books are, even though he literally just said that only Rise of the Arch-Illager is canon. Then, the most important part of the video starts, where I discuss how the overworld, Nether, and End all branched out from a single timeline, and what the original timeline looked like. And then he proceeds to literally fast forward the entire rest of the video. Literally the most important part. Which brings us to the last theory that he debunked. This one, where I talk about how the End was created, and dive deeper into the origins of the Orb of Dominance. In the intro, I tease at the idea of a fourth host that he says he likes. So now for this theory, I start talking about the Minecraft multiverse theory, where I bring up the book that he is looking at, and he can clearly see does not state any of the things that he said about the difference between worlds, timelines, and universes. Then I go over the entire thing that he skipped in the last video. Then I point out this theory made by the game theorists, stating that Endermen are actually just players who were corrupted by chorus fruit, to which he points out that the game theorists are very wrong about this theory and that they're wrong about half the time. And yeah, I've found lots of problems with the game theorists' theories, but most of the time they're actually really, really good, even if they are wrong. But this guy publicly says that he's coming to debunk all the theorists, so we know for a fact that he's going to be at least a little bit biased going into this. One thing I should point out though is that I think this is the best game theorists' theory about Minecraft. Like it's incredibly accurate. They point out a lot of evidence, and lots more evidence has been found by other theorists, like Zatrix. Also, he points out that in a Minecraft book, it says the Enderman's goal is to slowly displace blocks to remove the entire world, which is true. The handbook does say that, but it's still compatible with the game theorist's theory of them being corrupted, and this theory that we'll get into later. So then I put forward the fourth host theory, where I talk about the potential fourth host. Then I talk about Zatrix's theory, where he makes a comparison between the terms Ender Sent and God Sent. And I say that just because the term sounds similar doesn't mean it's the same thing. And I could make an entire video like this debunking Zatrix's theory, but I'm more focused on making theories rather than debunking old ones. Then he points out that my Orb of Dominance theory was just as bad as Zatrix's, because I'm just saying this is like this, so they must be the same thing, right? But clearly it's not, because the Orb of Dominance is so much weaker than the command block. But like I said, the command block can of course do so much more than the Orb of Dominance because it's a concentrated, controlled output of the Orb of Dominance's power. The Orb of Dominance clearly isn't perfect, whereas the Arch-Illager shows it being affected by things like emotion, whereas command blocks are like machines. They do exactly the task that needs to be done every single time with perfect efficiency. Not to mention the concentration of power, making it clearly much stronger than its predecessor. And again, I'm not saying for 100% certain that it's the same thing. I'm just saying that it totally could be. Then I talk about void power, and he criticizes me for not using words like void energy or void magic. Then he talks about how Zatrix's theory is actually good, even though, as I said, there's so many different things that can be used to debunk it. Again, not that he's a bad theorist. Zatrix is an incredible theorist, even though he clearly doesn't like me. I told you I'm a very controversial theorist. But then he says this.
He says that his theories are correct without a doubt, and he treats them all like they're 100% truth.
No, I don't treat my theories like they're absolute truth and that everyone else's theories are terrible. In fact, I often go out of my way multiple times a video to point out that this theory might not be true and it's just a theory, and that other people's theories are great even if they're wrong. I made an entire video talking about how even though my theories have sufficient evidence, it doesn't mean they're true. I'm just saying that Zatrix's theory has some problems, that's all I'm saying.
He thinks that people believe Zatrix because he's a bigger YouTuber than this guy, when it's actually that Zatrix is a bigger YouTuber because he's a better theorist than this guy.
First of all, yes, I do believe that people are more prone to believe Zatrix over me, even if my theories are better, because he's a bigger YouTuber. That's just human psychology. Again, I'm not saying that all his theories are wrong, or that he's a bad theorist, or that my theories are good and that I'm better than him. I'm just coming up with a theory, acknowledging that it might be false, and posting it on the internet. But he says that Zatrix is a bigger YouTuber because he's a better theorist. First of all, I can't seem to find any problems with most of my theories, so again, that doesn't make me a better theorist. I could still be wrong, but he's definitely not a bigger YouTuber than me because he's so much of a better theorist. And second of all, if being a better theorist gives you more subscribers, then I'm sorry to say it, buddy, but I have almost 2,000 times more subscribers than you. So by that logic, who's the better theorist, you or me? Then I tell my theory about Ender, the fourth host, and everything, and he says that the host probably shouldn't have trusted someone so much whose name is Ender, which honestly I agree with. That's actually really funny. But moving on. And then I say that chorus fruit is too toxic to eat consistently. He says that clearly it's not because ender pearls harm us from teleporting, but chorus fruit doesn't. But I was referring to the fact that it turns people into endermen when eaten consistently. Then I said that when the players turn into endermen, they retain the power that only the players had, to break and place blocks.
Cough, cough, farmer, villagers, cough, cough, zombies, vindicators can also break doors, cough.
Yes, there are other mobs in the game that can break blocks, but endermen are the only ones in the game who can break and place, which is exactly what I said. But yeah, this guy talks for quite a while, and you can actually look down at the timeline and see that this video is shorter than the video I'm reacting to. That's how long it is. Then he talks about how he thinks that I said that all the other beings from the end were just endermen that Ender corrupted even further, but no, I think that they're just beings that he created in their image. And endermen clearly are stronger than most of them. They're the only mobs we know of that can teleport, like, between dimensions. So I think that the endermen are the only, like, end beings that were originally players, and the rest of them were created by him, but just they're weaker than endermen. Except for the ender scent, which was stronger, but there's very few of them. Then I reminded people that Ender isn't a god like Zatrix says, he's just a very powerful being, to which he responds,
Powerful being that creates stuff. Nah, it's not a god.
correct, gods by definition are all-powerful. Ender was defeated, so clearly he's not all-powerful. Then the final battle happens where Ender is defeated, and he criticizes me for using the music from the Minecraft Dungeons opening cinematic instead of the Heart of Ender's theme. Yes, you can tell he's just kind of grabbing on to anything that he can to prove the theory wrong, because truly there isn't that much wrong with this theory. And by the way, I'm not saying that this whole thing with the interdimensional war and Ender and anything actually did happen, I'm just saying that it's incredibly likely. Then I say that it's the greatest Minecraft theory ever told, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that I truly believe that it's the greatest Minecraft theory ever, or that it's the ultimate Minecraft theory, or the perfect Minecraft theory. I'm just saying I've heard a lot of Minecraft theories, I've made a lot of Minecraft theories, and this one is my favorite. That's all I'm saying. That's completely subjective.
That was my reaction. These theories are bad.
But as bad as this whole situation is, it's nothing compared to this.
The Minecraft world that we see in Minecraft is not the canon world. Canon world we see is in Minecraft Dungeons. Why? Because I don't think the Minecraft world is like 4 times bigger than Earth.
You heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. This right here sums up the biggest problem in Minecraft theories. You see, people have their own ideas of the way things are, and they don't like when those ideas get changed. They don't like to think that maybe the Orb of Dominance survived Minecraft Dungeons, or that maybe Minecraft is in a parallel universe system, and people will often go through any lengths necessary to justify their previous beliefs. Not because they're maliciously trying to mislead people, but because they're biased, whether or not they mean to be, and those biases cause them to do things they wouldn't normally do. And if you look back at all these theories, all of them are terrible and easy to debunk if you don't take into account the shards of the Orb of Dominance, the cutscene at the end of the Echoing Void DLC, the command blocks being canon through creative mode, the similarities between the Orb of Dominance and the command blocks, ignore what Mojang says about Minecraft's multiverse theory, use this made-up model of universes and dimensions, and say that Minecraft isn't the canon world, but rather Minecraft Dungeons is, even though we would never go through all these lengths for a theory we believe is true. And when we start to question whether or not the Minecraft world is canon in a Minecraft theory, what are we even doing? At the point where we question if the Minecraft world is canon, we're no longer Minecraft theorists. So what's the solution to this? Keep an open mind. Don't just look at evidence that supports what you already think is true. Give both sides of the story equal research and then come to a conclusion based on factual evidence. And you're going to be wrong some of the time, but that's just because we're humans, and we need to admit when we're wrong instead of keeping it hidden or undisclosed. And with that, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.